Hello, beautiful people. We're about to go live on ibgr.network, and this is my first live. So hold on a few seconds. I'm about to just set myself up and see you guys soon. There you go. Hello and welcome everybody. I am so excited. I'm Arthie Moore, your compassionate leader of influence, coming to you live on ibgr.network, the most incredible radio station out there at the moment. I need to say, I'm excited because this is my first live, so you get to see behind the scenes as I go live on our international radio station from South Africa. I think it's incredible. It is stunning. I'm your radio show host today, Arthie Moore. Earlier you got to hear from Tina and you got to hear from Jan Roberts. But my topic today is about fair compensation as an imperative. Now, what I love about this entire platform is it's allowing us to engage with you live. And it's just not just on Facebook, but it's also on our ibgr.network, our website. When you go onto our website, you're able to download incredible show notes. You're able to connect with over amazing, incredible, nearly 40 to 50 show hosts right now, on-air talent that are coming to you from around the world. Now, what's exquisite about our business radio network is that we are unique and unusual. So we're not playing amazing jingles and songs throughout the day. We're not distracting you from anything that would take you away from the imperative, and that's your business. What I love about our radio station is that we are a business-focused radio station. Whether you're beginning a business, you're working in your business, on your business, or you're exiting your business. The brilliant part about it is that we have got people every single day. So over 50 show hosts, 24/7 in 149 countries. I cannot tell you how incredible our ibgr.network radio show station is. It's incredible. I love that we've got so many exciting things to share with you. We've got incredible stuff, incredible knowledge and wisdom and expertise coming to you from around the world. And so if this is your first time listening or watching me as your show host, welcome. If you're a returning listener to ibgr.network, welcome back again. I love all of you guys. I love the energy that comes from all of this. And I just cannot wait to get into my topic. So I'm Arthie Moore, Compassion Leader of Influence. I'm co-founder of Key Leadership Institute with my awesome business partner, Jan Roberts. I'm also the founder of Celebrating Humanity International. I've been in business for over 23 years. And what I love is that I get to share with you some real life stories, some areas that I failed in, some areas that I succeeded in, and also get to listen to you. So what I'm loving about this platform is if you're on Facebook Live right now watching this, put in the comments box any of your questions. Also for future shows, if you want me to talk into something that's an imperative or a burning question for you, ask the question. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. I'll make an effort and I will do my best to make sure that I bring incredible information to you. So just know that this is a platform for you. This is not just a radio station. It's a family. It's a network. It's an incredible connection platform that if you delve into it, you're giving yourself the opportunity to grow. So I'm welcoming you once again to ibgr.network, our live radio station. And it's absolutely fun because I'm getting to do this with you live. So I'm going to just talk a little bit into some of the topics that I've been talking about for the last couple of sessions. Now, on my one today, I'm talking about fair compensation as an imperative. Now, a lot of people will ask, why is that an imperative in a business? Surely a salary is good enough. And I think, well, yeah, salary is awesome. But when you acknowledge people and you make them feel worthwhile and you make them feel as if what they bring to your business is worth their time and effort, and you compensate them for it, then yes, you're building confidence, you're building the way people feel, you're also building loyalty. And more than that, you're building the talent of the people, and you make them feel as if they're a part of your team. So, I mean, when I look at industries right now, A lot of them are battling against control warfare being waged across nations, right? And the global impact it has on our lives is really, really, really scary, because there's a break in the economic flow right now. Around the world, many businesses are battling. A lot of companies are closing down, and it's because of the situation we're in. I mean, and I realize that the common denominator here, that we can effectively bring balance to the business world again, is to make sure that we have compensation or structures in place. Something that's going to help us to say, well, if I demand a service, I realize that in order to give a service, I want to make sure that it's quality that I'm giving. And when I physically receive service, I want to make sure that somebody out there has gone out of their way to understand the customer experience. Now, when people talk about compensation, a lot of them miss the point, because they dumb it down to, well, you know what, there is a fair wage. You do your job and you get paid for it, and it's an expectation. Now, as an employee in a company or in a business or somebody else's business, it's more than just the salary. It's also gratitude. It's acknowledgement. It's being credited for the value that the person brings to the organization as well. So, I mean, I made a few notes, and I think that one of the brilliant parts I think that we need to actually delve into is, how do we change the dynamics within the industry right now? I mean, we need to address firstly the human need that is prevalent in the minds of any employee, their business transaction, whether it's a joint venture or a relationship. And the common denominator there is always going to be money, right? So I believe that in order to do this, we really need to be very meaningful and intentional in how we adjust. So when I looked at compensation for the masses, now the easiest way to talk into that is, how do we adjust your business strategy? You see, in order to make it viable for the business as well as yourself, you've got to make sure that it works for all of you, not just for the employees, where you retain amazing talent, but also for the business to prosper and to succeed. Now, you would have heard many people, and this theme resonates through a lot of different motivational talks and speeches, where people talk about, you know, we need to share this pie. And then you will have some really inspired human beings will actually tell you, make the pie bigger. Because we're in an economy where billions of dollars and rands are flowing, and, well, every currency, billions, right? Choose a currency, it is flowing. Now, any of these currencies are flowing throughout our world, our global economy on a daily basis. There's money changing hands regardless. So my question is, what are we doing to share in that wealth, in terms of wealth transfer, knowledge transfer, and helping people to understand how even skills transfer adds value to compensation? Now, in a few of the segments that I'm going to have, I'm going to talk into quite a number of the areas that I believe is an imperative in business, because compensation is not just limited to money. It's not limited to bonuses, and I'll talk into the different levels of compensation. I believe that it is a growth mindset. Now, when you're in business, being a leader of influence, a compassionate leader of influence, means that you always have people as your first imperative. So yes, you can make profit while making a difference. Now, don't shy away from money, because money is a tool. And I know that when we have money in the right hands, doing the right things for the right people, you get the right impact. I mean, that's what the whole point of being a compassionate leader of influence is all about. And so when I look at how it is, I mean, fair compensation is also a fair exchange program. I mean, think about it. It's an exchange of time, of precious skills. It's about mentoring and coaching too. It's about all of the benefits that the individual as well as the organization gains because of this. And so when I looked at this, I believe that, you know, all the benefits that the individual has, it's not just about personal and leadership development. It becomes a quality of understanding. It challenges work ethics. It creates an environment of values and instills a value system where people feel, they feel as if, you've taken the time to acknowledge them and their worth. Now, when we're talking into fair compensation, I also want to delve onto a few areas I feel is important to talk about. There is an imbalance in gender equity when it comes to compensation. There is an imbalance in the way people are treated based on their age or their cultural background. There is the belief systems in the work environment. There are old school thinking and systems still in place where people have not evolved or have not innovated enough to realize the strategy of the company has to be adjusted. And so when I'm talking into these areas, I realize that, fair compensation, it goes a lot more further than just the money aspect. It's about acknowledging the genders, the generational gaps, the experience of people, the educational levels of people. It also talks into the levels of development of people, experience in a way where I'm not talking about young versus old. I'm talking about the fact that there are a lot of people who have access to knowledge and skills that is important to the growth of an organization. They're young people who are innovative and creative, and we need a blend of that. And you've got to find a way to compensate for that kind of knowledge and expertise. Now, I know that I'm coming up very, very soon to one of our first breaks that we normally would take, and that is an imperative because part of our IBGR.network, we want to encourage you to actually join us on all of our platforms. So I'm going to just take a few seconds before we take our quick break and just talk into a little bit about the fact that we have got the IBGR.network website with an incredible range of information. There's a free ebook with show notes. There's access to podcasts from all of our on-air talent. There are over 50 show hosts from around the world 24/7 on this platform bringing exquisite knowledge to you. So go onto that platform and go and check in with all of the different hosts and listen to their shows. And also don't forget to download the podcast. So I'm going to sign out and take a quick break, and that's going to be on our radio station time. But now I'm all yours on our Facebook page. So I'm going to just check in quickly and see if there are any messages that I can talk into or answer for you. And if I can't see any messages, I'm just going to jump out and just talk to you a little bit about something else that I found really, really awesome. I see that we have now got, as I'm not sure if it was yesterday or recently, but I saw today that we have a mentoring platform. So I think it's going to be really, really exquisite to actually find out more about this platform. So I wrote down some stuff that I thought I'd just read up to you very quickly. And we now have available on the ibgr.community mentoring groups. Now, I love mentoring because that's going to be one of the things I'm going to talk into just now when I come back live on our show. And the mentoring groups are incredible because that is a knowledge sharing platform. I feel that, if we really, really used it powerfully and properly, can bring a lot of professional growth to all of us. And if you go on to our www.ibgr.network website, you should be able to go into the ibgr.community site and join a mentoring group there. When you join there, the community, you're automatically added to our community of commerce. How exciting is that? Because you get to network with amazing people. I mean, it's an incredible place to actually network with like-minded people with a growth focus, with success mentalities, abundance mentalities as well, because everybody is willing to share their knowledge and their wisdom with you. So when you join your favorite on-air talent mentoring group, you also get to join all the other groups that gives you access to useful tools and mentoring conversations around your specific business challenges. I am loving that. I think that is absolutely brilliant. So join one or more of our mentoring groups today and start engaging with our like-minded business growers and entrepreneurs. Now, I have not seen if there are any questions so far. So what I'm going to do is just say, it's been fantastic being on this platform. This is fun doing the Facebook Live. and connecting with you. Don't forget, download our podcasts. You've got access to our podcast because all of our shows are recorded and then saved. So if you're the type of person who just loves being listening to stuff in the background while you're driving or when you're walking around, taking in information and growing, I think that's going to be something just up your street. So I'm about to go back live onto my show right now in the next few seconds. So I'll catch up with you right now. And we're back on my radio show, which I'm Arthie, more compassionate leader of influence. I want to welcome you back. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. If this is you joining us again, and I'm also live on Facebook. So if you hear me rambling, this is just fun and exciting. And I just love the energy around this. You're on IBGR.network, our radio station, which is not just a radio station. It's more than that. It is a network. It's a community. It is a family of people, entrepreneurs and business owners who've come together to share their knowledge and their wisdom and work out how they can add value to you. So wherever you're at in your business, whether it's beginning a business, you're working in or on your business, or exiting your business, there is something for every single person. I mean, tomorrow is going to be focused on the entrepreneur themselves, the executives, the people who are the decision makers. So, every step of the way, I'm actually now doing the people lane. So this is the episode talking about fair compensation as an imperative in the people lane, which is normally Thursdays. And I'm in the Prime Meridian team alongside 4 other amazing show hosts. So what's beautiful about this platform is that I'm noticing that there's so many ways to engage with people. And, my topic today is about fair compensation as an imperative. And I mean, from an owner's perspective, a lot of people will ask me, why do we need to understand people's need for more money? I think that, first of all, it's a wrong perspective to think that your people are only after more money. And maybe, there are some people who are like that, right? You might come across in your business environment or in your workspace the most laziest people out there with an entitlement mentality of I deserve in exchange for as little as I can give. Okay, that's a sad state of affairs, people. I find that very depressing as an attitude. And if there are people who have that kind of mindset and mentality, they actually demean or bring down the business environment or the entrepreneurial journey. And it's frustrating when you're a business owner and you're having to deal with that kind of attitude and behavior. So there's so many areas that we need to talk into here and things that we need to delve into and work out. So when we look at the pay bands that people want in terms of developing pay bands based on local market, what is the minimum wage, what's the maximum wage paid for a position? These are some of the questions that's come up. We need to evaluate where the employee is feeling entitled and where they actually are entitled to be compensated fairly. So I think there's an amazing conversation that can be had around that wording as well. But when you look at it, you need to determine how much each salary or wage you want to make it a variable. But you also want to understand that in a world that is busy fighting all of these various fights, it's based on diversity and inclusion. We're talking into your age, your genders, the baby boomers versus the millennials. Now, who deserves more money versus who's got more experience versus who's got the knowledge and wisdom. And then you're looking at automation, you're looking at 4R, you're looking at technology and the development that's happening right now. And I think, it's overwhelming for a business owner to be able to keep up with all of the trends. So where does your business strategy actually fit into this? Where can we add value to you? And, our IBGR.network show hosts, our on-air talent, talk into all the various aspects in a business that is really, it's amazing to understand other people's perspectives. So I'm talking into not just you as an owner and entrepreneur's perspective. I'm talking into the employee's perspective, their expectations, their beliefs, their wants, their needs, their desires. And when you look at that, each person is looking for something different. So, I mean, when you ask what is a fair compensation system, I think that, and actually looked into this, and I'll just read it out to you, what I found, which was really, really fascinating for me. It says that any compensation plan, whether it is for salary or bonus administration, strives to be fair while paying for performance. Okay, so the compensation plan they're talking about is something that needs to be, you need to be fair whilst paying for performance. Being fair means that the compensation amount was impartially and honestly determined in an objective manner based on merit without any favor or prejudice. Oh, that, okay. See, now that is a loaded statement. Now, how do you as a business owner do this without prejudice, without any favor? Because it is very easy to favor somebody who's always running after you, picking up after you, but maybe they're not as productive as some of the other people in your organization. And that talks to favoritism in a big way. And I do know it is a reality in many organizations. Now, as an entrepreneur for over 23 years, I've had the privilege of working with boards of directors and management teams around the world. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies and organizations from government to corporate to parastatals. And I have yet to come across a pay structure that compensates fairly for men and women, where they pay for the ability and the skills of some people who've been in the organization for a few months, based on people who've been sitting on their bums for 15 to 20 years, who are just doing their bare minimum, enjoying their salary, and then going home and retiring one day. I mean, most organizations and HR can actually speak into this. There are people who just have got amazing pay structures, and this even talks to executive teams. I mean, when you think about it, there are some boards of directors and management teams who should not even be paid for the lack of work that they do, the lack of decision making that they have. And yet, when you look at the pay structure, it is not fair. It does favor them, so there's prejudice there. And it's not in line with their output or performance. So how is it good for one person and not good enough for everybody else? So I think that's something that is worthwhile delving into. So if I'm looking at fair compensation as an imperative, I think that we need to throw in our management teams, our owners, our business owners, and all of the people who manage everybody else and have expectations that your salary is dependent on your performance. Now, if that's going to be fair, you're going to have a lot of people really balking at what I'm suggesting right now. And I'm saying that to be fair, pay yourself what you're worth. And if you are not putting in your worth and the equivalent and quality you demand of everybody else, maybe, just maybe, you need to take a look at yourself and the structure that you've got for yourself personally. And then we'll look at it from a different perspective. Because maybe you'll then start to feel the pain of the other people who feel that they deserve and they put in their time and hours. And then you cannot understand why you're losing your talent, why there's a lack of loyalty, why there's gossiping and backbiting. I mean, all of these are human behavioral issues within your organization directly related to some parts of what I'm talking about right now. So I'm not talking into the bigger picture of you could have an environment that is not conducive to the growth of employees. Maybe there are policies and procedures that is not updated or even fairly created with everybody in mind. Maybe your systems need to be adjusted and changed. Maybe your infrastructure needs to be adjusted. Who knows what is going on in your organization? And those are bigger picture areas. There could be prejudices and racism. There could be inequality in the way you have brought people in. Now, I know that sounds depressing, but it's a reality. It's a reality whether you're a business owner or you're working for people. These are all of the human behavioral aspects that actually prevents a company from growing and prospering. Now, when I've dealt with a lot of people and companies, they would bring me in to resolve issues that they thought was based on diversity issues. And I realized at one point I was not asking the imperative question, an important question. Now I've learned I've learned throughout my life to listen carefully to people. But now recently I've learned that I've got to ask better questions. And one of the questions that demands to be asked is, are your people being fairly treated? Are they being treated fairly? Fairly treated. Treated fairly. Okay. So are they being treated fairly in terms of the way you give them credit, you acknowledge them, and you give them what they deserve in terms of their output, the hours that they put in? Do you acknowledge everybody equally? Do you actually go out of your way to say to people, you know what, I've noticed what you do. I noticed how much time you put in. And it doesn't have to be a lot. But fair compensation means that you're acknowledging how much the person has added value and quality to your organization. You see, quality questions like that engages your people. And, as a business owner, you don't have to always have all of the answers. I think that, when we address this area, we need to delve into the depths of business understanding, innovation, inclusive leadership, and the need for quality leadership. When I look at all of these various aspects, I know that we need to understand where the different levels of compensation comes into play, what you can do differently, what are some of the questions you need to ask, and how do you engage your employees so that they come up with something that is meaningful, but it's also fair to the business. Now, I'm not saying run out there and go and compensate everybody just to say, look, I'm a great boss or a business owner. You need to make sure it sustains itself. So I was saying that we need to create a business strategy that works for everybody. And, while we're doing that, I want to just take a quick 2 to 3 minute break. That is on our live radio station side. And while we're doing that, I just want to say, join us on our ibgr.network website. Join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. Find us, even download our app, which gives you access to all of our live shows. And when we come back, I'll delve into a lot of the other areas that adds a lot more meaning to what I've been talking to you about. So that is me off air live on our station side, and now I'm all yours on the Facebook side. Now I must apologize, I have not been looking out at the different comments, and I'm not sure if there are any comments, but what I'm going to do is just see if there is any quickly here. Yay. Okay. I love what Donna's just said. Pay yourself your worth. More pay or less pay. How are you showing up? That's a good one. I think so too. I think that is a brilliant way to actually look at things. Because as business owners, we need to step up and we need to show up for people and lead them in the way that they feel that we honor and respect them and value them. Yes, Gunther, welcome as well. And I see that Jan is on. Yay! So, Gunther, I love having you on as well. Yes, fair compensation is a touchy subject. In my opinion, most people are not in the correct position. Companies need to first find the right job or post for the person. If you place a person in a position which they can shine, then we can pay them fair compensation. Both parties are happy. I absolutely agree. Absolutely, Gunther. I always believe that you pay people their worth. But first, as a business owner, you need to know your worth too. So I think that's brilliant, because I came across that myself as a business owner. I would always pay people what they're worth, because that is the only way to grow as a company. And I had a partner at one stage who did not see the value in that, and we felt the repercussions of it because of that. But in the next segment, I am going to be talking into some of those areas as well, because I think that is a really, really key area to talk into. It's an imperative. Jan says that we need quality leadership, asking better quality questions. Yeah, better quality leadership is definitely one of the things we need to delve into very seriously when it comes to compensation, because a lot of our top guys get paid for looking pretty and doing nothing and making decisions without being inclusive. And I think, everything adds up at some point or the other. Quick sip of water before the next part. So I'm about to go back on air, and I will entertain myself a little more with all of you just now. So in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody. I am Arthie Moore, your compassionate leader of influence on our incredible radio station, IBGR.network. Join us. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is you as a returning person, welcome back. Absolutely love having all of you on our radio station. Now, one of the beautiful things about our radio station, while I can just get a quick few seconds in, is that we now have got a mentoring platform, a mentoring community. So when you go onto IBGR.network, go to the community page and you're able to join one of our mentoring networks, and you immediately get access to all of the other networks and incredible knowledge and wisdom and tools and resources that can be downloaded there for free. While you've got access to that, go and download our podcast, because every show host is recorded, and immediately we all have our shows put into podcasts, and you can download those right now on www.ibgr.network. And if you really loved connecting with us and want to engage with any of our show hosts, we've got between 40 or 50, I think, show hosts from around the world, on-air talent, 24/7, and we're being listened to live in over 149 countries and growing. Now, this is so cool. This is so fun, because we've got, as a radio station, we are creating a platform where any business owner, whether you're working in your business, on your business, or exiting your business, there is something for everybody. There's juicy tidbits, there's exciting, fun information, there's sad stories, happy stories, success stories, stories of failure, but more than that, how people overcame and grew in their business. And I love that, because even as I listen into all of the different on-air talent, I'm learning personally for my own business. Now, we are in so many different countries, 24/7, every zone, so you can never be short of information. And if you're a reader and you love resources, then download our ebook right now while it is complimentary. Get your copy right now from www.ibgr.network. Now, I'm giving you insight and access to every single thing that you could have in terms of building your business. Now, if you don't take up those opportunities, you're losing out on so many ways to build your business. I mean, people pay tens of thousands of dollars to attend all of these fancy conferences and these seminars, and everything's hyped up and exciting. But at the end of the day, you walk away and you've got all of these amazing notes. When do you implement it for yourself? And so when I look at what our IBGR network radio station has done for you, is they're giving you everything and access to everything and everybody, the show notes, the podcasts, and they even have an app. I mean, how much more do you need access to all of us? And even on the app, you get to have conversations with us directly. Now, one of the imperative parts that I did not tell you about is I want to entice you and encourage you to ask us questions. And if there's a burning topic or something you would love to get to know more about, there are different show hosts here who can actually delve into those topics a lot more from their experience. Now, I think that is powerful. To get experienced people to share their knowledge and wisdom is one of the most incredible things, and it's for free. So there's no excuses of why you cannot succeed in this day and age. If we're talking about automation and technology being the key to innovation, here it is. It's in an app form, it's in podcast form, it's in an ebook form, it's live on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You cannot escape us, people. That's what I'm saying. It's that exciting. You can't escape us. We're everywhere. and you have access to us in so many different platforms. So I want to welcome you and make sure that you join us on these platforms and make use of it, right? And so I think that one of the things that I want to complete talking about right now in terms of my topic of fair compensation is an imperative. Where Gunther made an interesting observation earlier on, as well as Donna and Jan, and that is that our leadership need to take responsibility as well. Because I feel that when we set the standards of what fair compensation is, I would work harder. I would make sure that the quality of my output demands quality input from everybody else. I would show up and I would step up as a leader, as a person who wants to entice other people to follow my lead and to show them that they're worth every single cent that they receive, and then more than that, compensate them in different ways. Now, there are so many different ways of compensating people, and I thought, maybe I should just delve into that very quickly. They talk about 4 major types of direct compensation, and that is hourly, salary, commission, and bonuses. A lot of people want to know, how do we compensate people for those different areas? And I thought that's interesting, because there's other different ways of delving into compensation, and that includes base pay, commissions, overtime pay, bonuses. I'm just reading it off for you because I wrote it all down for you. Bonuses, profit sharing, merit pay, stock options, travel, meals, housing allowances, and then other benefits like dental, insurance, medical, vacation leaves, retirement, taxes. I mean, there are so many different ways to actually help people and compensate them for the work and the quality that they put in. Now, I loved about what Gunther mentioned earlier was that at some point we realized that if we put the wrong people in the wrong position and they don't have the skills or the ability to perform and be productive, they could become very disgruntled human beings. So they would expect that for the position they're in, that they deserve to be paid for that position. And if we're saying that compensation, fair compensation, is directly related to your productivity, we're going to start to have issues where people are going to start to question this. And when you have people questioning why you don't see their worth, as an inclusive leader, you've got an opportunity to step up and ask yourself, why have you put people into positions where you haven't given them the skill opportunity to actually grow or to succeed? And so when we look at all of these various areas that demands attention in a massive way, we realize that what you need to do is you need an implementation of skills development, soft skills. You need solution-focused strategy plans. You need African principles of leadership and more. You need to challenge mindsets. You need to create a fair exchange where compensation meets upgraded, upskilled, self-motivated individuals who earned the right to receive the compensation they deserve. Now, I love that because, and as I was writing this into my show notes, I thought, that is important. That is an important area to delve into. How do you challenge mindsets where you encourage people to do the quality of job you expect in the current salary? And then how do you entice them to be able to do more, be more, and improve their quality? And a lot of business owners will question this and say, but you should have been giving me quality to start with. And I agree, that is an imperative. I will not allow anybody to give me anything less than their best. But I also am understanding enough to realize that if somebody's not giving me their best, I need to step up and ask why. I need to question, what am I not giving them support in? Where do they need more skills or development or infrastructure or technology or resources? So I need to be accountable as a business owner first. So if I have people saying, well, I just feel that I've been doing the best that I could and I'm failing, and we don't actually ask why, we realize that, I mean, if things are failing around us, it's not they are failing, we have failed them. And that's an important one to actually realize and understand, because at some point we are never ever going to grow as people or as a business if we don't realize where we have failed our people. So creating systems that truly gauge performance based on output, innovative thinking and results is going to be something that we need to make sure is part of our strategic planning sessions. It's got to be part of understanding that gender neutral payment structures need to be talked about, and we talk into gender neutral payment systems that delves into the skills and the ability of the person, the knowledge and the wisdom and the expertise that a person brings to the table. So when I'm saying gender neutral, I'm saying it does not matter whether it's a man or a woman. I'm saying fairly compensating people, and I know that this will be a hot topic for a lot of people, compensate a person for what they bring to the table. Because if you don't, you will have disgruntled people. And I think it really is unfair when we discriminate and say that because somebody has been in an organization for so long, they deserve it, as opposed to somebody who's brand new, enthusiastic, excited out of their minds, gives you their best. They go out of their way, and then you don't compensate them because in some olden days thinking that people actually believe that the longer you've been in an organization, the more your worth is, regardless of the fact that maybe your younger people or somebody who's just newly come into the organization has got more quality output, they're more innovative and more thinking, and maybe you are just scared. Maybe you are fearful that they will bring to you progress that you're afraid to actually acknowledge or receive. Now, I know those are strong words to finish off that section in, but I'm going to take it with that. I think I shall leave you with those words to think about. And we're going to take a quick 2 to 3 minute break. And when we come back, we're going to talk into some of the other areas that's an imperative as well. So if you're listening to us, catch us on ibgr.network. Share, like and share this. Help people to download the app and connect in any way that you can with us. Ask us questions. We're looking forward to connecting with you and hearing from you. And with that, I sign off from my live right now on the radio station, and I'm all yours back on Facebook. So I think that, you know, this is an intriguing conversation, especially if we are delving into the gender-based neutral payment systems. And I know a few people who don't deserve it. Whether they're men or women, there are some people who do not deserve a pay rise just based on their lack of accountability, their inability to take responsibility for themselves, and they don't step up. They hurt each other in the most meaningless ways, and they bring down other people. And I just feel, I mean, why compensate somebody just because they demand it and they think that they're right and it is their right? So, I mean, you know, when you're a business owner, you've got to take a look at, in the long run, how sustainable is this for you as a company? And is this person the type of quality person you want to remain in your organization? What is the impact that they have on the people around them? I mean, those are important questions to challenge in terms of mindset, because I think there's a lot of areas that need to be considered when we're talking about fair compensation. But while I'm doing that, I'm just going to double check if I've got any questions. Okay, there's no more questions. Nobody's harassing me. Okay, that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's really important to understand just handing out money for the sake of handing out money can be a dangerous place to be. And I think creating a foundation of quality people should be the imperative. We should not get into a position where we just roll over and throw money at the problem if that's what it sounds like, right? Compensation is fair. So I just feel that when it comes to business owners, we need to constantly upgrade our thinking. We've got to always be looking out to where the challenges are within our organizations and listen carefully to people, because that is what inclusive leaders do. They listen carefully and then they find solutions. And I think it's important to know that you don't always have to know everything, and you don't always have to bring up solutions for yourself. You ask people the question and see where they head with some of their insights. Ooh, 2 seconds, beautiful people. And we are back on, and we're back live on ibgr.network. I'm your host, Arthie Moore, Compassionate Leader of Influence, and I'm excited to be here on our radio station, ibgr.network. We are more than just a radio station, people. We are a network, we're a family, and we're an incredible group of people coming to you live from around the world. We have over 50 show hosts, on-air talent, 24/7, and we're being listened to in over 149 countries. So if this is your first time listening in, welcome. If you've been listening to me for this last 45 minutes, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being one of my cherished listeners. And so I'm talking about fair compensation as an imperative, and I was talking into the gender neutral pay, the pay areas, and I was talking into the areas that we don't want to even touch because they are touchy subjects. But I think for a lot of people, money is a touchy subject, and they don't want to give away money unless they see value in how they give away this money. So, I mean, we were looking at the different structures when it comes to fair compensation. And I think here's some of the ways you can actually determine what your value is in the labor market. So when we look at, when you want to find out what your value is, go online and double check for your type of business, for your type of expertise or experience, for your type of service or the quality that you give. What is it worth? What do other people pay themselves? What are the payment structures like? And I think that's a key area to think about, because then you're going into an environment where you're in line with the market imperatives, but also it gives you the foundations to think about what you could do differently and how you want it to work for your organization. So, the minimum pay wage structure does not work for anybody. I think it's demeaning for a lot of people. Many people are living hand to mouth and have to make ends meet. Many people, we don't even know what their life story is, what their lifestyle is, what their families are like. I mean, many people are supporting entire big families and extended families, and they have sickly families. And, there are a lot of human areas that we don't even think about. There, is an imperative for people to have a good, fair compensation package. Now, earlier on, we were talking about medical, and we were talking about, it could be travel expenses, it could be meal vouchers, it could be housing, it could be skills transfer. I mean, for me, I find that another part of fair compensation that nobody talks about is mentoring and coaching. And I just feel that, okay, there's an amazing saying that I've come across before. It says that, never ever bite the hand that feeds you, but do if it prevents you from feeding yourself. So now, how is this related to compensation? I think that, if we don't help people to upgrade their thinking, and if we don't help them to grow their thinking, they will always stagnate. And if we are not in that position where we're helping people to grow, will always be the handouts. They'll wait for the handouts, they'll wait for the salary, they'll wait for the wage, and then a lot of people complain. So if you want a solution-focused team or environment, what are you doing to help them to grow? And that's why I thought, mentoring and coaching is fair exchange. Because if you could bring in your new people and have a partnering kind of process, I was talking about systems and strategic plans, that could include a partnering process. So when you look at that, I realize that we need to we need to add value to people in different ways, not just in monetary ways, because upskilling your people means that you give them the ability to succeed. So some of the other areas we need to take a look at when we're determining your value in the labor market. So you keep in mind that you don't necessarily deserve the average pay. And how do you do that? Factor in your prior experience, consider your location, think about your level of education, think about your responsibilities, and consider the awards and the on-job training and courses that you've taken. Now, all of that adds up, and a lot of people don't even realize that they deserve more than they're getting based on what they have put into their lives. So when we look at how do you retain talent because of fair compensation, you see that soft skills and hard skills development for all employees to succeed helps them to realize that they earn their reward versus expectation. So earning their rewards means that they put in the effort and they put in the time that is needed to add value to the business. Then there are other ways that you can engage your employees through fair compensation to help them add value to your organization. You'll find that when you compensate them fairly, you will have better customer care, where your customers, because they're creatures of habit, will come to you a lot more because your people are happier and financially secure and they're in a better space. So if they're not thinking about how am I going to afford this, they're not thinking about where the next meal is going to come from, they're not thinking about what do they need to save because what they receive is not enough. They won't be thinking about who can they go to, or whose organization can they leave you for. Where will their talent be more honored because they're compensated just a little bit more? All I'm saying is put in the effort to know more about your people, because that little bit of effort means that you don't actually end up paying more to now rebuild a new employee, reskill a new employee, and that's a waste of time and money. So when we look at some of the other areas where your fair compensation can improve the quality of what comes out for your business or your organization, we realize it also improves the efficiency, the productivity. It improves the protocols within your organization. It improves your implementation. It improves the way that your goals are achieved. It improves teamwork. It improves the retention of talent. I mean, there's so much that you can gain just by understanding why fair compensation is an imperative. Another area that is important is that you will save a lot of resources because of this. You also get, when your employees get recognized as experts in a specific task, they feel honored, they feel excited, and they do more of it. Isn't that human behavior? When you honor or you acknowledge or you give credit to somebody, they want to do more of it. So fairly compensating somebody with bonuses and with things that help them to feel acknowledged, you make your people feel like they exist. And so when you do that, you are actually reducing the stress on your ability to manage people, manage behavior. Your HR team are less stressed. Your managers are less stressed. And now you're getting to the point where people begin to lead the business rather than manage the business. And I think that is important as well. So some of the other areas, I'm just checking out my time while I'm talking to you. So some of the other areas I think is really, really important to delve into is how do you solve problems by compensating fairly. And I think taking the initiative, get people to sit around a table and say, how much do you feel you are worth in terms of the output currently that you have, your productivity levels, your performance levels? Do you feel that your salary or your payment structure works for you and is in line with the quality of work that you're giving? And let people take responsibility for themselves. If they say yes, and they're comfortable with that, then that's brilliant, because as long as you've asked the question, you've given them the platform to talk into that. If they say no, ask the question, what would it be worth to you? And let's look at the business structure and what can we do differently, and how can we realign the payment structures so that you are given what you're worth. You see, a strong leader does not just roll over and die and says, I will give you what you want because you demand. No, demand goes both ways. I can demand as much as I want to, but as long as I don't have balance and I don't give, it does not make sense. So if you've got an employee saying, I work more hours than everybody else, and they can actually quantify it, right? I'm not saying justify, I'm saying quantify the input of the work that they put in, the quality of their work. You can then take a look at it and say, well, I never thought of it that way. I did not realize. And you see, when you have open conversations like that, you're actually adding value to your people and they feel worthy. Now, even if you cannot compensate them immediately, the fact that you're having these conversations means that you can now relook at what you need to do differently in your business to make them feel more secure in the position that they're in, or maybe even upgrade their position, maybe upgrade their responsibilities, and maybe challenge them a bit more and say, okay, I find that to compensate you differently and fairly, would you be willing to take on other work or responsibilities, roles, and what you feel that is worth? And I think that, having conversations like that is a key, because what you're doing is you're thinking ahead on behalf of your people. You're getting to the point where they feel like you trust them and you trust them. They feel trustworthy. They feel that you are honoring them. I mean, when you think ahead, you'll find that your employees feel that there is a future with you. And fair compensation is an imperative because people want to feel like they have a future with you. Now, that is a mouthful from me, and I just want to say it's been fun and exciting and awesome being with you on our radio station. If you are listening to me, I'm Arthie, more compassion leader of influence. If you want to find out more about me, I'm the co-founder of Key Leadership Institute and the founder of Celebrating Humanity International, a diversity and inclusion company. You can connect with us on www.ibgr.network, and you can actually find out more about us, connect with us, and I think, just join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'm looking forward to next week because I have another exciting topic that I'm bringing to you, and that is going to be the art of delegation in developing competence. So what is the importance in that? I think a beautiful, beautiful goodbye from me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye-bye. And beautiful people, that is me signed off from the radio station. I hope that I was entertaining enough for all of you, and I hope I added value to all of you on our Facebook Live. I'm going to sign out from our Facebook Live, but please write down questions, like, share our platforms, and join us on www.ibgr.network. Download our show notes, download our podcast, download our ebook, go and join our mentoring community. And just know that we're here for you in every way possible. We're here to build you, add value to you, and add to your success. But from my side, I'm Arthie Moore, Compassion Leader of Influence, signing out. Lots of love, guys. Bye-bye.